Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. I am here live tonight on Monday. It is the 18th, 2023, on December. Welcome, welcome. We are here. We are almost at the end of the year. We are starting to get into the winter solstice time and all kinds of fun things. So if you're watching me tonight live on Facebook, go ahead and comment below. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, also comment below. Hit that like button because that helps the algorithm to start going. And I appreciate everybody who is joining me tonight. If you're new here, you are awesome. And if you are a loyal follower and watcher, you are awesome as well. So welcome, welcome. Go ahead and post your astrological sign below, your sun, your moon, your rising sign, where you are tuning in from. You don't have to be exact. Hey, Jean, I'm not sure if it's Jean or Jeannie. Welcome. Andrea, yay. Aries, Gemini, Cancer in Vermont. Kelly, also Leo in New York. Welcome, welcome. We have some people on. I love it. We are here live on Monday. I'm here every Monday night on Facebook at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And so if you want to join the live party, that's awesome. And you can comment below, but you don't have to do the live party. You can also watch the replay. Now, this is the last live that I will be doing in 2023, just to let you know, because next week is Christmas and the week after that is New Year's Day, and I will be taking those days off. However, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I am going to be posting a pre-recorded version because I'm not going to leave you all hanging. This week in astrology videos for Christmas week and New Year's week. So you don't want to miss that. So make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's very important. This is the week of the winter solstice. So we have the winter solstice. We have a couple of other astrological things I want to go over. Mercury retrogrades acting up. Has anybody else been feeling Mercury retrograde? It's been full on. We are on the retrograde. It started last week, if you remember, on Wednesday, December 13th in Capricorn. So we've been in it for it's not even a full week yet. Doesn't it feel like it's been like 10 years already? Remember, Mercury goes retrograde for 3 weeks, 3 times every year. It's not longer than that. Some people are like, are you sure? It's not like 5 months. No, Mercury retrograde is only 3 weeks, 3 times a year. So it's something that we deal with. It's that time to pause and to sort of reflect and do those things. Now, we are doing this during holiday season too, and that's what's a little different and kind of wonky this year. Traveling is going to be during Mercury retrograde if you're doing holiday traveling or buying package, because if you think about, because a lot of us, shop on Amazon or any kind of .com, whatever, to, go Christmas shopping or Hanukkah shopping or Kwanzaa shopping, whatever you celebrate. But, some of the pre-shadow and then the Mercury retrograde has been going on. So I think some of the shipping times and different things have been a little bit wonky. Andrea said TV screen went black. Oh no, waiting for the kids to come home and fix it. I don't know if kids can fix that kind of thing, but we'll see. Hopefully they will. Sarah, hey, welcome. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. Happy New Year. Amanda Torres from Tennessee. Love that. Rita from Colorado. See, we have a lot of people joining from all over the United States. And that's amazing. I appreciate all of you so much. So we are dealing with Mercury retrograde. That started, like I said, last week. And we also had that new moon last week, which was lovely. Today, which I'll just touch on very briefly, on Monday, on December 18th, 2023, is Mercury formed a trine with Jupiter. Now, Mercury's retrograde and Jupiter's retrograde. Mercury's in Capricorn, Jupiter's in Taurus. That's a trine. Trine is, they're both earth signs, so they get along, so that's kind of what the deal is. But basically those two that's good. That can increase communication, that can, increase texting, calling, orating, speaking, writing, all that stuff. And that is going to be how we start the week. So that the peak of it was this morning early at 9:30, or almost 9:30, 9:28 a.m. Eastern time. So 6:28 a.m. if you're out on the West Coast. But we will feel this for the first few days of the week. So that is nice. Jupiter makes everything bigger, and Mercury is all about communicating and traveling and talking, speaking, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why. I guess we're into my camera's starting to be weird again, falling down. Okay, so, but the only thing is that we could be talking too much, or, not knowing when to zip it. I think somebody asked me about Neptune and Pisces and the flooding. Yes, of course, all of that can increase. We have a Pisces moon going on right now. We had a Neptune transit this weekend. And we even have a Pisces moon tomorrow. I didn't get that far yet, but we have a lot of Pisces and a lot of Neptunian energy going on right now. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to say, but I think my camera's working. Okay. Hopefully it is. Yeah, so basically that's kind of the deal. Is right now we have a lot of Pisces, a lot of Neptune, and a lot of different things going on. And so that could increase flooding. Yes, for sure. Increased moisture in the air. Pisces is all about, Pisces is the ocean. Neptune is the ocean. In Greek mythology, Neptune was Poseidon. So yeah, definitely that can increase all that good stuff. Happy holidays. Thank you so much. Everybody's talking amongst yourselves. I love that. Okay, so Mercury formed a trine with Jupiter today. Again, that's increasing our talking, communicating, texting, emailing. And if you're a salesperson, if you're a teacher, if that's part of your job, I know there's some writers out there who write as well. And so that's something that could help you being a writer, all that good stuff. So we started that today. I did post about that earlier, so I don't want to spend too much time on that, but it's a good start to the week, I think. It was better than having that Neptune thing. I don't know if anybody felt that over the weekend, but oh my Lord, I felt it. It affected my Pisces moon big time. And I was like very sleepy this weekend, and it was just kind of a low key kind of energy weekend. Now tomorrow, as we get in tomorrow, December 19th, 2023, we are going to be talking about the first quarter. Some people call it the first quarter lunar cycle. Some people call it the second quarter lunar cycle. If you've been watching this program, I call it the second chance new moon. So the last new moon was last Tuesday, and that was on December 12th, 12/12, was the new moon in Sagittarius. Now we're getting already into the second chance new moon. So if you forgot to write your new moon manifestation list last week, this is the time to do it. After tomorrow, the peak of it, the height of it, the pinnacle of it, the maximum of it is 1:39 p.m. Eastern time. It's at 27 degrees Pisces. The sun is now at 27 degrees Sagittarius as of Tuesday. And so that's going to be right in the middle of the day. So anytime tomorrow, really preferably after this thing forms a peak, that would be a good time. The sun is in mutable sign Sagittarius. The moon's in mutable sign Pisces. Mutables, remember, are go with the flow, bendy and flowy. We're not really sure going this way or going that way. And so the second chance new moon, yes, is mostly a positive thing. It's a reevaluation, really. We're reevaluating what we started during the last new moon. So if you think about the new moon, we planted new seeds. Now we're checking to see, do we have enough fertilizer? Do we have enough sunlight? Do we have enough all of that stuff? Because now we need to make tweaks and make whatever. It is called a time of reevaluation in astrology. So sometimes that can mean that something's going wrong that we need to fix, like my camera stand. Okay. And so it's something that is interesting, but it's going to be sandwiched like the delicious center of an Oreo cookie between the moon forming a conjunction with Neptune. Now, the moon is in Pisces. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and that'll be at 9:07 a.m. And then it'll sextile Pluto right afterwards at 4:03 p.m. So tomorrow on Tuesday, there's a bunch of lunar activity, again, highlighting this Piscean, watery, Neptunian energy. And so that's kind of going on in the backdrop. And so we do need to kind of make this a time of reevaluating. Now, if you think about the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter and the ruler of Pisces is Neptune, these two are not very good with details. These two are more big picture, more about like optimism, expansion. Pisces is the queen or king of wishful thinking, okay? And Jupiter is the eternal optimist. So sometimes that these two, when they get together, that can be a little bit of a pitfall, kind of, because there's nothing sort of like where's Saturn when you need him, right? There's nothing saying like, is this realistic? Like, is this really a goal? You know, is this really a plan? Neptune can be very unrealistic. In fact, it's very much about like dreams and imagination and the fantasy. And Jupiter just wants to have anything, let's go along with whatever's fun, you know? And so these two, anything that's kind of going on around this time, just make sure it's realistic. We have to, I guess, bring out our own internal Sagittarius, or Saturn, I mean. We have to bring out our own internal Saturn in order to it's like say like I don't even know if this is really doable, because these two can get really caught up in the fantasy and the illusion and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it can be a, a wild fun party. And hey, if you don't have much to do tomorrow, you know, as far as like fine detail sort of work, but yes, this is extremely good for creativity, music, art, cooking, any kind of thing where it's like you're using your imagination, interior design, or graphic design, or social media posts. I mean, all those things require some degree of like imagination and creativity. And so that can be very good for that. It's just not very good if you're like a tax accountant or, you know, an engineer or some kind of thing. That might not be so great for that. But yes, it's definitely like dream the big dream, and that's going to be the half moon. So again, we're halfway between that last new moon that was last Tuesday 12/12, and then the next upcoming full moon is going to be on December 26th, the day after Christmas, and that is going to be sun in Capricorn, and the moon is going to be in Cancer. So if any Capricorns or Cancers are out there, that's going to be that full moon coming, and that's going to be a lot of energy. That full moon is going to be a lot of energy, and so that's going to be coming next week. There's a lot. That day is a busy day, and there's going to be a ton of energy on that day, which means the 24 hours preceding, because you know how it is with full moons, as we get towards the peak of it, we're climbing up the mountain, it's just growing in intensity. That could be intense Christmas Day if you think about it, right? Because although there's not very much at all going on Christmas Day, on the day after, it's going to be peaking, okay? And so we're going to be in that 24-hour bubble before the full moon. So just kind of watch that, you know, because if you think about a full moon in Cancer, that's home and family. So what could go wrong, you know, during the holidays? So, you know, if you have that difficult relative that you're seeing, or encountering the drunk uncle at a family dinner, you know, that could get a little spicy with that. So you just want to watch that. But otherwise, I mean, it could be really fun, because remember, it's a peak, a pinnacle, a maximizing the family atmosphere. So, I mean, I guess that could be fun, but we have to watch because Mercury's retrograde still technically, and also, you know, just full moon, just a full moon. I mean, full moons can be a little, you know, just because you're having a good day doesn't mean someone else is, because again, that peaks, that maximizes that, you know, is the peak of that cycle. So that's coming next week. Next to all the moons this month are on Tuesdays. So that's coming next week. So we're at that halfway point, and I love it because it looks like half a moon in the sky when you go outside to see it. I think it's very pretty. Anybody see any of that Geminid meteor shower last week? I did. I counted 5 shooting stars, which was really fun. If anybody saw any. Some of the days it was a little cloudy up here in New England, but yeah, anyway, I saw some shooting stars, you know, and I always mention in my broadcast when there are, you know, meteor showers, I like to announce those. You know, I've been thinking about, and I was talking about that with somebody recently. I have really manifested some big things during meteor showers. So the next time there is one, I'm going to make an announcement, and I'll talk about that a little bit more thoroughly. And it's interesting because when we think about like pop sayings in popular culture, like wish upon a star, I was like, wow, maybe there's something to that, because it's been a personal thing that I have definitely manifested some really cool things during meteor showers. And last week, we had the new moon and the meteor shower. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, the next day after this big, fully loaded, first quarter, second quarter, whatever you call it, I call it the second chance new moon. The next day after that, on Wednesday, we have on the 20th, that's December 20th, we have Vesta is on the move. Okay, so Vesta has been doing some weird, funky things. And Vesta has been in the astrological news for a while, though I'm one of the rare astrologers that talk about the asteroids. Not many do. I mean, we're a little bit of a subset of a subset, but but I like to talk about the asteroids because the asteroids were goddesses. The other planets were based off of Greek mythology and gods, the males of the solar system. So I like to talk about the ladies because it pulls in some feminine energy here. So we have Vesta. Remember, Vesta is home and hearth, safety and security, and she is retrograde. She's been retrograde, goodness, for a while now. She's been retrograde since November 3rd. This year she's been retrograde, and she's going to continue to be retrograde all the way until February 8th. So she has a long retrograde cycle. And so she's retrograde now, and she's been sort of swinging, back and forth between Cancer and Gemini. Okay. So where's Cancer? Where's Gemini in your astrological chart? And you'll know how this will affect you on a personal level. Her father was Saturn. Her siblings were Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto, Juno, and Ceres. So she had a couple brothers and sisters there, few brothers and sisters. And so Vesta being in Gemini might seem familiar because we already did that this year. So earlier this year, between June 22nd and September 13th, think about what you were doing during that time, because Vesta was in Gemini then. And so now we're having a return to Vesta in Gemini again. And so it's something that we want to be thinking about, okay, in that time frame. I will tell you, I remember I was thinking back, because it's basically what was our summer like, and so my summer was pretty social, and it's kind of interesting. There was at the very end there, I had all these social opportunities. I saw the people after Vesta went into Cancer, but I got all the invites when Vesta was in Gemini. So I think that was interesting. Again, that was between June 22nd and September 13th. So think about where Vesta is in your chart, how that's affecting you on a personal level. Vesta was in Cancer, home and family. Now she's going into Gemini. Well, Gemini is social. Gemini is communication. Gemini is dissemination of information. People with Vesta full time in their astrological chart in Gemini are very social beings usually. They like to multitask. They're very curious people. They work really well with others and networking and all that kind of stuff. So we're going back to that time. Now you have to remember, we can't be myopic with astrology. We can't just say, well, this one thing is responsible for all this. But if you're thinking about any of these key words that I'm listing off, like resourceful, writing and speaking, communication, because again, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, working with others, talking and all that stuff. If you had that type of a summer this year, we're having a revisit of Vesta in that area of our charts. And it's pretty cool. She was Hestia in Greek mythology, and she was so important to Rome that there is a Vesta, a day that's dedicated to Vesta, okay, as far as celebrating. And it was said she was the Vestal Virgin. So if you think about she was the protector, she was considered to be the protector of Rome. If her sacred flame went out, it was said that Rome was, possibly open to attack or something. So she kept everybody safe. So if you think about safety and security, this is about safety and security in not only our communicating, It's also how we get around, because think about Mercury can be travel, sort of like, Gemini and Mercury, so think about cars. Also think about cyber security. When you want to talk about safety and security, you might want to talk about like getting like spyware, getting antivirus stuff, or any kind of thing like that, that we want to kind of talk about that type of stuff, safety and security. And also speaking and communicating safely for others so that they can hear our message. You ever have somebody talk to you and you felt unsafe? This is about helping people to feel safe, and also helping ourselves to feel safe too during communication. So that is a big thing too. Wendy said, yeah, the summer was definitely a wet one here in Vermont, that's for sure. You didn't vend much, but all was good. Okay, well, this might be about getting prepared, or kind of revisit, because we're revisiting this, because remember, Vesta's retrograde now. So we're revisiting some of these things. What could we do? Like, let's say something like that ever happens again. So using Wendy as an example, she said she sells her beautiful artistry and wares and things at different types of craft shows and stuff. So what could you do, Wendy, to avoid loss of income? So maybe you could list things online, or maybe you could we want to revisit something that we kind of encountered this summer that could help us to be safe, help us to feel secure, all those types of things. So that's something that's very important. So we are going to be, Vesta is going to be in Gemini for a while. We're going to have another 3 months with Vesta in Gemini from this Wednesday on December 20th all the way until March 31st. Okay, so Vesta in Gemini is going to be there for a while. Now, Vesta will be retrograde, like I said, only until February 8th. But it'll be in Gemini because, it's got to go all the way forward, all the way, it does its thing. And so I call it the windshield wiper effect, because it goes sort of like, it looks like in the sky anyway, going back and forth. So this whole thing started this year and is continuing next year, 2024. So this whole going from Gemini, back to Cancer, and then Cancer to Gemini. So we're going to be having this practice. Now, Vesta is really at home in Cancer, because if you think about it, she's the goddess of the home and hearth and protecting, and all that kind of stuff, safety and security. She was a little bit more comfortable in Cancer, but now she's in Gemini. So we're going to be going into this Gemini world, and we have to think about social media. We have to think about networking, and we have to think about all these things, but we're returning to that. Now, what I think is interesting is this is kind of in line right now with this Mercury retrograde, right? I mean, Mercury's retrograde in Capricorn. Yes, it's a different sign, but still Mercury, and we are revisiting this communication stuff anyway. So it's kind of like on par, and it's making it a little bit deeper, feel stronger maybe. So there's that going on in the background. But I like Vesta in Gemini. She was pretty cool. It's funny, somebody said, I think it was Andrea, somebody said, oh, their poor mother. Who was married to Saturn? Who was married to Saturn? Well, it was a goddess named Ops, O-P-S. I don't know if I'm saying that correct. In Greek mythology, her name was Rhea, okay? And she was the wife of Saturn. So let's say, I kind of feel bad for that lady. Not only did she have a whole ton of children, right? Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto, Juno, Ceres, Vesta, all these people. But she also was married to Saturn. That was her husband. Yikes. I don't know. It must have taken a special lady to be. I think we should celebrate her more, because Saturn in astrology, I always tell people, and especially if you're new to astrology, welcome. I hope I'm helping with you learning, okay? Because I love teaching about astrology, and I do it for free here on Facebook, on YouTube, and I help you guys out. I like people to think about these things. It's just thought-provoking stuff. But if you think about astrology, really one of the most important, other than the sun and the moon, really one of the most important is planets there is Saturn. Saturn is one of the ones I look at. Like I spend 70% of a reading looking at Saturn, like what is Saturn doing? But we don't really talk about Saturn's wife. You know, she's not really a factor in astrology, but I think she should be. I feel like she should be. So I'm gonna like look into that a little bit more, I think. But anyway, so yes, that is Vesta going into Gemini. So we're returning to that. We're having a return to communication. And thank you guys. Somebody is liking my post and sharing it and doing all that wonderful stuff. I love that you guys are doing that. You guys do a great job, and make sure that you comment below. Okay, so moving on to the big day, which is Thursday, which a lot of you might be here for that, okay? The whole reason why you clicked on this post tonight was because of that. It is the winter solstice. Yay! I'll ring my own bell for that. Yay, winter solstice. That is the big deal. And why are we celebrating this? You know, we have so many people that don't even realize that they're celebrating the reason why we're having the winter solstice, which is when the sun moves into the astrological sign of Capricorn. Oh, yay, Kelly. 50 stars. My first star of the evening. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So the solstices are when either the day or the night, okay, is the longest day or the shortest day of the year, okay? So in this case, in northern hemisphere of the world, it is the shortest day of the year. If you're on the southern hemisphere of the world, it's the longest day of the year. Yay, Wendy. 100 stars. Ooh, that was a mild one. So that's the solstices. Think long and short. The equinoxes are equal. Okay, so it's like it's equal amount of light, equal amount of dark. Okay, so the equinoxes come in the spring and in the fall, but when we have the solstices, the solstices are summer and winter. And so we are celebrating when the sun moves into the astrological sign of Capricorn. Now that's going to happen this year, December 21st. And the start of that is 10:27 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Ooh, that was a strong one. There we go. 10:27 p.m. So 7:27 p.m. if you're out on the West Coast, and that is the start of Capricorn season. So if you think about it, the equinoxes and the solstices are always in cardinal signs. That's the leader. That's the start of, okay? So this is the official start of a new season. And that's what we call cardinal signs. So if you think about Capricorn, Cancers, Aries, Libra, we are the cardinal signs. And so I say we because I'm an Aries. And so I'm in a different season, but this is still the start of the winter season. And so a lot of people don't realize that that's what we are celebrating. We're celebrating when we say, oh, it's the first day of winter. Well, it's because the sun moved into Capricorn. That's how we know it's the first day. You know, people say that all the time to me. I don't really do astrology. I'm like, but you do. You kind of do, because it's a way of telling time. It's a way of marking, okay, on the calendar. All calendars are based on the planets, you know. Time is based on the sun. I mean, you're using this all the time. So remember what I said to you before, and it was interesting. I had somebody on my YouTube channel comment one time, and I when I had talked about this. I just want to say it again. Some people think that the time changes at midnight. So like you're Sagittarius until like 11:59 p.m. on the 20th, and then the 21st. And no, it doesn't work like that. It changes every year. So if you don't know exactly, and you just assumed, okay, that you were a certain sun sign, you might want to look that up. There's a lot of there's Cafe Astrology that can run a free chart. There's astro.com, and you might want to check that, because you might not actually be the astrological sign that you think you are. And I had somebody on my YouTube channel commented, and they were like, oh my God, my whole life I thought I was a this, and then I found out I'm this, based on what I said. So So that's why it always changes. So that's why I said 10:27 p.m. on the night of the 21st is when it actually officially starts. And every year it's totally different. So we have the start of Capricorn season. That goes all the way until, where was my book here? The 21st, I believe, January 21st. And so, or sorry, January 20th of 2024. So we're going to be in Capricorn season. It's the start of a new season. We're kind of slowly getting out of Sagittarius time. That was the party time. And now we're getting steeped into traditions. That's what Capricorn season is, very steeped in traditions. If you think about Christmas, Kwanzaa, New Year's, writing New Year's goals. What's your goal? You know, that's very Saturn oriented, right? Well, the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn. So if you think about Saturn, Saturn's like, what's your goals? Write down your goals, make a vision board, do whatever you got to do. Just remember that this year, is we're ending and starting the new year on Mercury retrograde. So that's kind of a little wonky. You might need to repeat some of the things you put on your list last year that you didn't get to, or that didn't go quite as planned. I have a couple of those. I hit most of my things that I wanted to do, but I have a couple that I didn't quite nail, and I'm gonna recycle them. I'm gonna repurpose them, and I'm gonna put them on my new list. Okay. And so that's okay. That's Mercury retrograde for you, right? We're going to just repeat or revisit something that we didn't, do before. That's awesome. Wendy, you wrote your book about the moon, stars, and sun and how we navigate by them. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I can't wait to see that. Okay. So, however, this Capricorn season is going to start out with a bang, really. I mean, we got a lot of planets doing some funky things. We have Venus opposing Uranus. And Rita had mentioned that the volcano in Iceland erupted today. I didn't know this. She just texted me 2 seconds before the broadcast started, so I didn't get time to look it up. But Uranus, is often responsible. Like, Uranus is in the news usually when there's a big volcanic eruption or a big earthquake. That is usually a Uranus thing. And so Uranus is doing some weird things this week, and especially the big one that I'll talk about on the broadcast, because it goes a bunch of little ones, but leading up to the big one is on Thursday, is when Venus and Uranus oppose each other. That only happens once every year, okay? So it's only an annual event. Venus right now is in Scorpio, and then Uranus is retrograde in Taurus. And that peak of it is going to be overnight between the 20th and the 21st. So technically it's going to be 12/21 at 2:04 a.m. So 11:04 p.m. if you're on the West Coast, okay? That's the peak of it. But you can see we're already feeling it now. Now, what's the deal with this? This is weird love, strange love, interesting love, not typical love. This is where we want to be free. Uranus is definitely, like, I think the Leonard Skinner's Free Bird was definitely written about Uranus. Okay. Uranus wants to be free, wants to be independent, wants to march to the beat of its own drummer, wants to do something totally different. And Venus is in Scorpio, which wants to stay, and both of these want to be fixed. Okay, Taurus wants to be fixed, and Scorpio wants to be fixed. And Scorpio isn't really wanting to play and do all that kind of stuff. Scorpio wants to kind of, let's just keep it status quo, type of thing. And Scorpio loves to have more strong ties, not like all this, like, let's have polyamory or let's do, whatever we're going to do. Okay. That's more Uranus likes to do that type of stuff. So we have a little bit of these two are struggling, okay, this week. And so we could feel this in our personal love relationships. You got to give your lover or partner, if you have one, a lot of personal space this week, okay? A lot of just, they got to do them, you got to do you. This is just sort of how it works during this Venus, Uranus kind of, opposition. That's just kind of how it works. And so there's that. Now, the kind of fun thing about this is that you could go completely outside of your type if you are thinking of, you know, being with somebody that could be a different race, a different culture, different religion, different background in some way. That could be, or different age range, you know, much younger, much older. If you have Uranus in your chart anywhere near some love stuff, and you know, your typical type could be even, you know, kind of doing something that's just considered to be different. And so that is going on behind the scenes during this winter solstice. The other thing that's going on behind the scenes is Mercury is going to form a sextile with Saturn. Mercury is retrograde. So, okay, we have Mercury retrograde going on behind the scenes, talking, communicating. But when we have Saturn, Saturn is just a select few. Saturn is less words. Saturn likes to keep things short, bullet points and things like that. So we have that going on. Our words need to mean something, okay, with Mercury sextile Saturn. The peak of that is coming at 7:33 a.m. on that day, same day. This is all going on the same day as the winter solstice. So this is a very good time. I don't want to put Almir on the spot, but Almir, if you guys don't follow him on Instagram, you really should, because he's got like this, he's got a huge following, and he does a lot of rituals and a lot of different types of offerings and things. So if you have anything, Almir, that you like to recommend, but I definitely think a simmer pot is kind of cool. I like to do a simmer pot during this time of year. I could even talk about this on my New Year's video more in depth. I like to do that to welcome in the new energies, you know, with some orange and some star anise and cinnamon and some other things. And you're sort of like, it's almost a way of like kind of smudging, but you're not cleansing. You're kind of like, you're welcoming new, good, positive energy for the new year. And so I'll talk about that maybe on my New Year's video. But getting into this winter solstice, this is that start the new season, and really it's something that we should sort of say our blessings and our intentions from here on out. Okay, we're gaining the light. Okay, it is the darkest day of the year up here again in the Northern Hemisphere, but we're gaining light from this point on. So it's something that is really wonderful. So I think putting out your intentions, saying your prayers, you know, we're doing this quarterly. Okay, 4 times a year, we're celebrating the marker of a new season and a new time. And I think it's really a wonderful time of year to celebrate, again, connecting with friends and family and all that good stuff. I like to do that kind of thing. Yes, Andrea said, simmer pot sounds great. Yummy. Kelly, breathe it in. Another Kelly said, Uranus rules your 7th house. Yeah, okay. So that is definitely... Thank you, Almir. Almir posted, you make yours with orange cloves, simmer pot with star anise. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much, yeah, what I do too. I add cranberries to mine too, sometimes too. But yes, Earth Spiritus, Earth.Spiritus is Almir's. If you want to follow it, he really makes beautiful videos, and it's very inspiring. So anyway, so when we get into the winter solstice, we're saying our blessings now. When we think of winter, the time of year, right, we're kicking off with Saturn, right? You know, if you think about Capricorn and Saturn kind of being, you know, somewhat interchangeable, Saturn is like the engine in the car that powers Capricorn. Okay, so if you think about that, that's our winter, you know, during that time, and it's about doing, you know, kind of looking within, slowing down, you know, making sure everything's thorough. We start preparing for tax season and all kinds of things that we do in that Saturn time. We're looking at goals, and we're looking at making plans and setting intentions. Even if you don't do what's called a New Year's resolution, you can still for sure set intentions and things. Yes, Darlene, yes, Capricorn rising. Yeah, so if you have any planets in Capricorn, you're going to get this powered up. Depends on where Capricorn is in your astrological chart in order to know where the sun is giving you solar power. Think about the sun as solar power. So where's Capricorn in your chart? And if you have any planets there, rising sign, or the moon or Venus or whatever, any of the planets. And of course, if you are Capricorn, happy birthday. I don't know if there's any Capricorns that we can wish happy birthday to. I think Melinda is on the broadcast. Happy birthday to people coming up. And so it is definitely something that that we can celebrate that time. Now, I was thinking about different types of stones for Capricorn. One of them is a good one is lapis lazuli. I'm wearing that as a bracelet tonight. Lapis is a deeply, deeply healing stone. Okay. And that is a really beautiful stone. Another one is looking at onyx, black onyx. Okay, this is more of a rock, and then this one is a piece of polished jewelry. My ring is actually black onyx. If you think about protection, that's a really good stone for Capricorn protection. Yes, Melinda, happy birthday. We will wish you a happy birthday early. And so these are some other good ones. Another good one, and I'm going to reach over off camera here, and that is amethyst. Okay, and that's another good Capricorn stone. I really honestly think amethyst is just good for everything and every time, every event. But amethyst is a really beautiful. I will say a lot of Capricorns do struggle sometimes with addictions and also depression. That is because if you think about, again, in the northern hemisphere of the world, it's winter. And so I think a lot of times seasonal affective disorder kind of can get us during that Capricorn season. So it is said that amethyst is very good for both those things, for depression and addiction. Again, it is the official stone of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. And I think it's just beautiful, the beautiful pop of color. And if you think about the crown chakra, it can help us to kind of connect with spirit, a higher power, faith, God, Buddha, the universe, whoever you pray to. And I do love amethyst. I think it's great for that crown chakra and connecting. Because sometimes when we feel that feeling of despair or hopelessness, and definitely that Saturn sort of like feeling down or feeling blue or feeling sorry for ourselves, this can help to get us out of that. Now, if you think about Capricorn, Capricorn is the CEO of the zodiac. Okay, that's the nickname of Capricorn. And it's all about business. Even if you are a stay-at-home mom or whatever it is you're doing, you do it like a boss. You do it like a business, you know. And so that is, I know a lot of stay-at-home mom Capricorns, and man, they run that like a tight ship. And so Capricorn is about the structure. If you think about the structure of things, that is something that that we are kind of into, and that's the structure of the world there. So that's Capricorn. So welcome to Capricorn season, everybody. Thank you so much. You guys are liking the post. I love it. And so this is Capricorn season. Now we still have more news to come. I told you I'd be circling back around, okay, to Mercury retrograde. Yay! Mercury retrograde is now deepening into the heart of the retrograde. This is what I call the heart of the retrograde. And that's when the sun, okay, and Mercury conjunct each other. Just to remind you, Mercury travels very close to the sun, okay, somewhere close around the sun, wherever the sun is. So before the retrograde, Mercury is speedy McSpeedy and is what we call ahead. It looks like in the sky, again, to be ahead of the sun. That's an optical illusion. Don't call me out in the comments. I always get someone that goes, but I thought that was not really, you know, no, it's an optical illusion. Okay. But I'm just talking about that. Okay. So Mercury looks like it's ahead of the sun. And then during the retrograde, right, it starts to fall, looking like it's falling behind the sun, and it will eventually drop back. The point at which it connects with the sun and forms a conjunction with the sun is what I call the heart of the retrograde. It always happens about at the halfway point. And that's coming next Friday, the day after, okay, the winter solstice. Now, that is a weird, interesting time whenever that phenomena happens. Because if you think about the sun powering up Mercury for like 2 seconds, well, longer than that, a couple of days, okay, things get really hyperspeed busy usually. Now, this is all happening when the sun and Mercury are at 0 degrees Capricorn. They're right at the very, very, very beginning. So anything that happens at the very beginning, 0 degrees, is said to be very kind of impactful and very important. Okay, so we have Mercury, okay, and that's going to be in Capricorn. So we're going to get all of a sudden a flurry of activity Thursday, Friday, Saturday, okay, where things like, it's going to be like, oh my God, my phone is like blowing up all day. Emails are piling up, text, phone calls, emails. It seems like it kind of gives Mercury a hyper speed, okay? And then it gets quiet. Right after that, it gets quiet. It's like it hits the sun, gets really busy, and then when it starts to float back here, I noticed that things start to quiet down. People are just like, when is this over? When is this over? When's the Mercury retrograde over? I can't wait for it to be over. That's when I start hearing that kind of stuff, okay, during the retrograde. So that seems to be kind of how it rolls. Now, everybody's different, everybody experiences, but I've been doing astrology for a long, long time, okay? I've been studying astrology since I was 12 years old, not even joking. So I've watched these cycles many years, and I can tell you that's how I usually see it. So I'll see it get real busy, and then all of a sudden it starts to get quiet. So next week, Christmas week, might get a little quieter. But we're going to have before that, and if you think about it, okay, we're probably going to try to wrap up everything before we have a little bit of time off before Christmas. So, oh my God, I got to get all my work done. It's like that final push to sort of get things done. Maybe that's going to correlate with this time. Or traveling, or, whatever it is you got to do, wrap your presents or think about holiday meals or whatever thing you're going to do. It's going to get real busy. And you might be like, well, that's just because of the holiday. No, that's because also the astrological calendar is telling us that. Okay, so that's going to come to a peak that is on December 22nd, 2023, Friday. And the peak of that is 1:54 p.m. Eastern time. So earlier than that, again, if you're out on the West Coast or in between somewhere, plus or minus, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be that day, and it's going to be very active. So you'll feel that as we get into the end of the week, okay, you'll be feeling Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then maybe even Saturday, Sunday. So that is going on. But then, like I said, once it really falls, looks like falling behind the sun, then it gets like, usually it gets like, it's like that big flurry, and then it gets like, it kind of chills out just for a minute. Okay. But it doesn't chill out just yet, because the next day, overnight between the 22nd and 23rd, I told you it's like barely still in Capricorn, it falls back into Sagittarius. Now, I kind of gave you guys the heads up. It will be in Sagittarius from December 23rd, 2023. That happens at 1:18 a.m. So again, if you're out on the West Coast, that's going to be at 10:18 p.m. On that night, Friday night, and then, or Saturday early overnight in the morning. So Mercury is going to be in Sagittarius. I know I just like to give you guys the dates because a lot of people like to write these things down. Mercury will be in Sagittarius between December 23rd, 2023, all the way until January 13th of 2024. Okay, even though the retrograde ends on January 1st, it'll be in Sagittarius. We're revisiting Mercury in Sagittarius. So Mercury already was in Sagittarius, if you guys remember. Mercury was in Sagittarius last month, okay? And that was, let's see, when was that? I had it written down here. Mercury entered Sagittarius on December 10th. And went into Capricorn on December 1st. So from November 10th to December 1st, Mercury was in Sagittarius. we already had that. So what was going on in your life? Okay, because we're going to revisit that. We're revisiting everything, okay, here. So that's another revisiting that we're doing. So think back to that time. What was going on for you most of November after the 10th? And then you'll kind of know that we're going to rehash something. We're bringing something back out. We're going to be looking at something again that came from that time frame, okay? And specifically, the week of November 26th to December 1st, that or those few days right before, specifically that time, that was a very important time for this Mercury in Sagittarius. So you can be your own, I like to say you can be your own fortune teller, your own, okay, astrologer, and you can look through your phone and just see what was going on, or maybe read a diary or a journal or something that you go through your emails. What was I doing? Oh yeah, that happened. And you can bring it up and look at it, because you're going to be dealing with an element or a flavor of it. Here's the difference though. People get, sometimes when I say these things, sometimes people get a little worried or scared, especially if it was something that was negative that happened during that time. They might go, oh God, I don't want to revisit that. Well, we're not going to redo that again in the same way. We're revisiting, we're going back a second time to look at it. So it's not going to happen in the same way exactly and all, but we'll start to deal with an element of it, okay, during that time. And so that's where you can be your own fortune teller or your own astrologer, and you can look, I don't like to be called a fortune teller, but whatever. Sometimes, you can look at that and you can predict that for yourself and say, okay, yeah, I am going to revisit that. We're going to go back. But I always say, hopefully when we revisit these things, we're having evolution. We're elevating whatever that experience was. Like if you think about them, one of my favorite movies, if you guys, I don't know if you ever saw, it was an older movie now, I guess, with Bill Murray, Groundhog Day. And he does the same day over and over and over again. And each time he improves it and improves it until it ends up being the perfect day. Sorry if you didn't see it. I just gave away the plot line. But that's basically what the deal is. Well, it's kind of like that. When we have these retrogrades, we're going back to what would I do differently? How would I make changes? How would I approach that differently? And that's a great way of looking at these retrogrades. It's not like something we should dread, and it's like, how can I make the best of this circumstances or the best of this situation? How can I revisit this with some form of spiritual elevation and maybe some growth? Okay. And so that's what we're looking for with retrogrades, not to torture us, and it's like we're just sitting there in purgatory redoing the same thing over and over again. No. It's about having growth and wisdom and starting to elevate our experience. Maybe we didn't handle it quite right. So, okay, now we get sort of a redo, okay, because we're revisiting that. So that's what we're doing. So again, Mercury goes into Sagittarius, and that increases our fire sign sort of communication too, because remember, Capricorn likes to communicate using bullet points, okay, like short, concise, to the point. Let's just, but Sagittarius Mercury loves to talk. I don't know if you've ever talked to a Sagittarius, but they love to tell stories. They love to joke around. They like to have, but they're also feisty and fiery too. So they can get fired up about things. So that's going to be revisiting that whole time frame. So any Sagittarians out there, if you have Mercury going into that Sagittarius sector, where is Sagittarius in your personal chart? Do you have planets in Sagittarius? You'll definitely feel this really strongly if you are a Sagittarius or a Gemini, or even Pisces and Virgos can get that from the sort of sidelines. And definitely it fires up all of us fire signs, Aries and Leos will get a little sort of perked up, because I do feel like Mercury in Capricorn is a little harder, I feel like it's a little bit more zippy when it goes into Sagittarius. Yeah. So, and then on Christmas Eve, if you celebrate, that is going to be on December 24th, Sunday. We do have a lovely alignment between, now the sun is going to form a sextile with Saturn. So if you think about it, the sun and Mercury, again, are holding hands and skipping down the road this week together. Okay. They're kind of stuck together. So Mercury formed a sextile with Saturn on December 21st, Thursday. And now the sun is going to form a sextile with Saturn on Sunday. Sextiles are positive, okay? So that's a good thing. That's good news. And Saturn is about, again, having a goal, doing what you say you're going to do. Say what you say, do what you say, all that kind of stuff. So if you have like some real stuff to accomplish, I know that it's this kind of holiday time, and a lot of people sort of will just say, don't give work 100% of their effort during that time. But I mean, this could be a very good time if you have things you want to accomplish. You have things that you want to, set out to do. This could be a very good time for you this week if you're inclined to do so. Again, Saturn wants to be around the tried, the true, and the tradition. So if you have a tradition around this time, you might want to be revisiting that. Your mom, your grandmom, or your dad, or whoever did certain things during these different times. You might want to do them. Like this is returning to tradition, and that sort of thing. So hopefully that helps. Actually, Christmas forecast looks pretty good, except for that full moon the next day. That's going to be a little wonky. The full moon, by the way, is going to come to a peak at 7:33 p.m. on the 26th. So it'll be more closer to the evening. So hopefully we won't feel it too much during Christmas festivities, if you celebrate. But yes, so hopefully that helped everybody. We have a lot of astrological energy this week, and even next week there's the week after is very, very busy. So the last week of December, we have a lot going on. So hopefully that is helpful. And if anybody has any questions, Wendy had posted what is a good stone for the third eye? So the third eye chakra is the color of indigo. Okay. And this is the third eye, just look what it sounds like for anybody who is not familiar with the chakras. And so I love sodalite for the third eye. I love sodalite stone. That it's an indigo blue jean, somebody said earlier. That's kind of like a bluish purpley kind of color, and I think it's quite lovely. So I love that stone for third eye chakra work. If anybody has any stone that's like an indigo color, I think is good. But that's the first one that comes to my mind. Tanzanite could be another good one too. If you have tanzanite, it's a little bit of a rarer stone, but yeah. Sarah, oh, hi Sarah. Pull a card for your family for Christmas. Yes, I will. Let me see here. Oh, nice. Somebody has a wedding. I couldn't read that full thing because it cut it off, but let me pull a card. I hope you guys love this. I am still booking, by the way, astrological sessions during the holidays. I'm just not doing my live broadcast, okay? I'm going to be doing the pre-recorded, putting that on YouTube in case if you guys missed that announcement. So I won't be live on Monday night. Please don't blow me up because it's going to be Christmas. But yes, I will be posting on YouTube. So let me see, Sarah, you would like to have a card for your family for Christmas. Oh, happy news. Happy news. You guys could use some happy news, Sarah. Happy news, okay? Your prayer is answered in a creative way. And just know, I want to say this for Sarah specifically, but also for everybody that's on the broadcast, because most of us have some sort of deceased loved one, someone we're missing during the holiday. But just know that if you have a deceased loved one, okay, they will come and visit. And a lot of times they will actually communicate with the family, or they will hang around the family during family celebrations. They love social gatherings. They love to be around, their deceased, their living loved ones. Okay, so when you have somebody in the family you're missing, don't. I know you might feel lonely, and you might feel cut off, and you might feel sort of like I wish they were here. They are. And they talk to me a lot about that in sessions when I do my private sessions, because I am a psychic medium. And I do bring some of that work into my sessions. Yes, I do astrology sessions, but I also do, I bring in all of my gifts and skills and abilities into my sessions. And so when I have a deceased, they often talk to me about like, oh, there was just an anniversary, or oh, there was just a family reunion or a party or some kind of thing. They like to see that. So just to let you know, they hear your thoughts, they hear your prayers. So you can say hi to them, and you can say like, I'd love to have a sign. I'd love to have a sign that you're here with us during this time, and they will show you. They will. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Okay, so somebody said, I apologize, I have to, Kirsten, Kirsten asked about, there's going to be, a family, wedding, and offering a private bus service will be okay to travel that way on New Year's Eve. It's interesting. I feel like yes, but I'm also getting cards, and you might not know because you're not the one like in charge behind the scenes ordering the bus. You're going to be there attending the wedding, but you're not like running the wedding. But there might be a problem with booking this bus. If you know the people really well, you might want to say to them, hey, everything okay with that bus? Because I don't know, something's wonky. They might have to swap out the bus, or the bus might be late, or there might be something with the bus. But it's saying it's safe to get on the bus. Like, it's not like it's saying to avoid the bus. It's just saying that, yeah, I hope that helps. The bus itself might be a problem for the hosts, and they might have to double, triple, quadruple confirm that the bus is going to be okay. All right, so somebody here, I apologize, I dropped my cards. I'm just having all kinds of fun things tonight. You got a close-up of my hair, you got a close-up of my sweater. My camera skills are just off the chart. All right. You're welcome, Kirsten, and you're welcome, Sarah. Kelly, you asked for a general card about career. So funny, because I got that memo, and I never, ever, ever bring over the career cards with me. And I always ask, because I have, all right, y'all, I have a little bit of a card addiction. I have a lot of decks of cards, okay? Probably more than I should say out loud. A lot of decks. And I sort of like, I always tend to bring the same ones with me, but I asked Spirit which ones I should bring, and they told me my career cards tonight, Kelly. So I think I got the memo before I came over, because I hardly ever bring this deck with me on the broadcast, because it's kind of specific. So let's see, what does Kelly need to know about her career? That's interesting, because I know some of the things you've done in your life. So yeah. All right. So you're getting the card of writing, which is funny, because if you read the message, it says you heal, inspire, teach, and entertain with the words that you write. Now, I will say this, sometimes doing a free write and journaling, this can also be school. This can also be going to school or teaching school. Okay, this has an educational kind of thing around it. And it is saying that there's something that you are a form of a healer. You're not like a doctor or a nurse, but you are a form of a healer, where you have a spiritual gift, healing, and desire to share it with others. So that can be a lot of professions heal people. And so, again, look at the card, Kelly, like this angel's like over this person, like they're in school. Just saying. But it's about that. I don't feel that we're destined to do just one thing. I really want to say that yeah, maybe when we live to be 20, or 30 back in that time. But nowadays we live such long lives, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old. We can do all kinds of different different things in our lifetime. So it doesn't have to be one thing. I mean, I think I've done almost everything in my chart that's in my chart. I've done a lot of things in my life. And you know, we can have the freedom to do that, which is the fun thing. Yeah. I hope that helps, Kelly. You're welcome. All right, so let's see. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Love that you are so human. Love your laughter. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Wendy. Yes, you're welcome, Kelly. Colleen, hoping students and teachers get rest and rejuvenation needed this holiday break. There have been so much sickness. Oh my goodness. Yes, Colleen. Let me pull a card for you, Colleen. That was a sweet sentiment. You know, I feel like we need to do that. We need to... You're getting the card helping children. That's kind of funny because I don't know off the top of my head if you are a teacher, Colleen, but part of your life purpose involves teaching, guiding, and helping young people. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally, it's between RSV, flu, COVID, all the different things that have been going around. It's like a cacophony of germs, you know. It's like it's been bad. So yes, my prayers, my positive energy towards school teachers, principals, administrators, everybody that works, teachers, students, all of that. Yeah, you guys need a lot of rest and rejuvenation, and that's perfect for Mercury retrograde. You know, I always say Mercury retrograde, you know, there's a big thing, don't travel during Mercury retrograde, but having a vacation is the most ideal thing during Mercury retrograde. It's getting to and from the destination. Now, if you have a staycation, that's perfect because you're staying home. But yeah, having time off during Mercury retrograde is about rest, renew, rejuvenate, and restoring your body, your life, your everything. So yeah. So I hope that helps everybody. I'm going to pull one card. Okay, what do we need to know for this big, awesome winter solstice? What do we need to know? And I'll let you get back to your night. I am going to pull a card. Again, if you guys want a personalized astrological reading, or if you want a gift certificate to gift somebody with insight and some astrological energy, or even if you want to gift it to yourself, you know, you probably bought a lot of presents for people that, you know, now you can gift yourself. Let me know because I'm available for gift certificates and also private sessions. Okay, what do we need to know about this week, this winter solstice? We have Mercury moving into Sagittarius. We have the second chance new moon in Pisces. What do we need to know about all of that energy? I'll pull one more. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. The cards are jumpy. It's a lot of energy. Oh, funny. We're talking about teaching and learning. I think some of that spilled over. Yeah, that's okay. Teaching and learning. That is Archangel Zadkiel. Keep an open mind and learn new things and then teach those 8 ideas to others, okay? And that's all that Mercury energy we're talking about, okay? That's a beautiful card as well. All right. This is for the week of Christmas, and it's so cute. Gifts from God. Look at us. We got all kinds of presents and gifts. Gifts from God. Archangel Sandalphon, we angels bring you gifts from your creator. Open your arms to receive. I think that's a beautiful way to end the broadcast for winter solstice, for Christmas, for Kwanzaa, for post. We're out of the Hanukkah time, but post Hanukkah, yes, all the good stuff. So thank you everybody so much. I really appreciate you guys. I love all of your energy. And remember, I won't be live next Monday, but I will be still making sure that you have the information you need for the week in astrology on my YouTube channel. So go ahead and check that out. I am wishing you lots of love, lots of good positive energy for the holiday season. Happy winter solstice, and I will see you guys live next year. Bye.